From PGA stars subtly improving their lie to playoffs decided by a grain of sand, here are the most outrageous and controversial cheating moments ever caught on camera. Patrick Reed, the Sandman. If golf had a villain origin story, this would be it. At the 2019 Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas, Reed found himself in a sandy waste area. On the 11th hole, cameras captured him twice brushing the sand behind his ball with his club, subtly displacing sand and improving his lie. When called out, Reed claimed he didn't realize he had moved any sand. "I strongly believe that my club did not touch the sand," he said. Brooks Koepka didn't buy it, saying, "I don't know what he was doing, building sandcastles maybe." The PGA Tour issued Patrick Reed a two-stroke penalty for violating Rule 8.1a, which prohibits improving conditions affecting the stroke. Reed accepted the penalty without dispute, but the blow to his reputation was lasting. Among fans, many now view him as the modern face of golf's gray areas. Lexi Thompson, the viewer call-in controversy. During the final round of the 2017 ANA Inspiration, Lexi Thompson held a comfortable lead when, on the 13th tee, tournament officials informed her of a four-stroke penalty for an infraction that had occurred the day before. The violation was uncovered after a television viewer emailed tournament officials, reporting that Thompson had improperly replaced her ball mark on the 17th green during her third round. After video review, the LPGA ruled that Thompson had breached Rule 20-7C, playing from the wrong place, incurring a two-stroke penalty, and Rule 6-6D, signing an incorrect scorecard, triggering an additional 2 strokes. She was notified of the decision while walking from the 12th green to the 13th tee, visibly stunned and reportedly asking, "Is this a joke?" Despite the sudden score adjustment, Thompson rallied to force a playoff but ultimately lost to So-Yeon Ryu. The incident drew widespread criticism, sparking debate over whether viewer call-ins and retroactive video enforcement were fair. In response, on April 25, 2017, the USGA and the R&A issued Decision 34-3/10, limiting the use of video evidence that wasn't discernible to the naked eye or where a player had made a reasonable effort to estimate. More significantly, starting January 1, 2018, the major tours and governing bodies ceased accepting viewer call-ins for rules violations. Phil Mickelson, the Putt Chase. Phil Mickelson is one of the greats of the modern era, loved by fans and never one to play it safe. During the 2018 US Open at Shinnecock Hills, on the 13th hole, Phil Mickelson took matters into his own hands in retaliation against a course set up that had angered many of the players that week. Phil jogged after a missed putt on the back of the green and struck the ball again while it was still in motion. This is a clear breach of Rule 14.5, which prohibits making a stroke at a moving ball. Mickelson knew the rule well and accepted the two-stroke penalty immediately, stating, "I took the two-shot penalty instead of letting it go off the green." Under Rule 14.5, a two-stroke penalty is appropriate. The USGA opted not to disqualify him despite the incident drawing criticism because officials determined he had not committed a serious breach. In other words, no intentional deflection or obstruction occurred. While this action was technically legal under the letter of the old rules, many observers called it unsportsmanlike and below the standard expected of a major champion, citing how it visibly manipulated ball movement to avoid a worse outcome. Gary Player, the pocket incident. Gary Player, one of golf's all-time greats, has long been surrounded by rumors of rule bending, particularly during the pre-camera era. Numerous unnamed pros have alleged Player would subtly reposition his ball, with one persistent story involving him palming a ball from his pocket and replacing it in a better spot. While no evidence ever surfaced to support these claims, the stories have proven remarkably durable. One anonymous pro was even quoted saying, "He was competitive. He'd do what it took." All of these stories remain unsubstantiated. However, the most public and well-documented accusation came during the 1983 Skins game, when Tom Watson accused Player of moving a leaf behind his ball on the 16th hole to improve his lie, a potential violation of Rule 13.2. Player vehemently denied any wrongdoing, and no official ruling was made, but the confrontation quickly became one of the most talked-about rules disputes in televised golf history. Regardless of the truth behind the rumors, the Gary Player controversy highlights how limited camera coverage in earlier decades allowed anecdote and hearsay to shape legacy, for better or worse. Michelle Wie, multiple rules controversies. Michelle Wie is both one of the most celebrated and most scrutinized female golfers of the 21st century. In her first 6 seasons as a pro, she was involved in multiple high-profile rules violations, many of them self-inflicted. Her troubles began at her very first professional tournament in 2005. During the third round of the Samsung World Championship, Wee hit into a bush and took an unplayable lie after dropping the ball, which later appeared to be closer to the hole. Sports Illustrated reporter Michael Bamberger alerted officials the next day. After reviewing footage and measuring the drop site, officials ruled it was indeed 3 inches too close. Because she didn't assess herself a two-stroke penalty, Wee was disqualified. That marked the beginning of a pattern. At the 2006 British Women's Open, she received a two-stroke penalty after officials reviewed video showing she touched moss during her backswing in a bunker. And in 2011 at the Kia Classic, Wee received another two-stroke penalty for grounding her club in a hazard. She claimed it was to maintain balance, but officials disagreed. Wee's talent was always evident, but her early career became a cautionary tale about the unforgiving nature of golf's rulebook and the spotlight that comes with prodigious fame.
Anna Nordquist, accidental cheat. During the 2016 U.S. Women's Open playoff, Nordquist took a bunker shot on the 17th hole, unaware that high-speed replay showed her club had barely brushed the sand during her backswing, a violation of Rule 13.4b. Officials reviewed the footage, then assessed a two-stroke penalty after she had played her next shot, informing players only midway through the final playoff hole. That penalty alone cost her the opportunity. She lost the playoff to Brittany Lang by 3 strokes. The incident triggered widespread debate over the fairness of retroactive penalties and whether slow-motion video enforcement, even for imperceptible infractions, should alter the outcome of championship golf.
Cheating on the mini tours. Of course, bending the rules is not an activity restricted to the PGA Tour. A former tour player has said cheating was rampant in the lower levels. Examples include kicking balls into better positions, also known as foot wedges, and taking unauthorized mulligans. One estimate suggests as many as 10 to 15% of players in these unsupervised events bend the rules. You learn quickly who to trust and who to watch closely. With limited camera coverage and often no rules officials, these small infractions often go unpunished, but can be a proving ground for players who may one day appear on tour. What this all goes to show is what we've always known. Because it is an individual sport, the scope for trying your luck is much greater than in other sports. Other notables in honor Codebreakers. First up, Matt Every was suspended twice for marijuana use. Not cheating per se, but it was a rules violation. Next is Vijay Singh, who admitted to using deer antler spray, a banned substance. He was later cleared. Then we have Dustin Johnson. DJ grounded his club in a bunker at the 2010 PGA, costing him a chance at the title. Shin Jun Zhang suspended for 6 months in 2014 for signing incorrect scorecards on 2 separate occasions during events on the PGA Tour China Series. Finally, Cameron Tringale self-disqualified days after finishing the 2014 PGA Championship due to a potential missed stroke. These cases range from blatant infractions to accidental mistakes to rare displays of integrity. Why it matters? Golf's fragile trust. Golf isn't officiated in the same way as other sports. It relies on players to be their own referees. That's why cheating, even when minor or accidental, strikes at the heart of the game. It undermines the unspoken contract that makes golf what it is. Because in this sport, your score is only as good as your honesty. Which of these moments shocked you the most? Drop a comment below and hit subscribe for weekly breakdowns of golf's wildest moments. Until next time, keep it honest and stay out of the rough.